Happy holidays once again, everybody, and Tony here with my review of Hallmark Presents Songs for the Holidays, which was released in 1987. The Jugendliche Heldentenor, or Spinto tenor, was Peter Hofmann. The lyric coloratura soprano was Deborah Sasson. The conductors were Don Jackson for Silver Bells and Dennis Burnside for the rest of the carols, along with the London Symphony Orchestra and London Symphony Chorus. And the carols featured on this album range from classics such as Silent Night, O Tannenbaum, and O Holy Night to more modern carols such as Home for the Holidays. Now, I know what some of you are going to be typing down in the comment section below. What? Peter Hofmann? A Jugendlicher Heldentenor? He's a Heldentenor. Cool your jets, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why I claim that Peter Hofmann is actually a Jugendlicher Heldentenor or Spinto tenor is because I feel like he doesn't have the big enough heft of a real Heldentenor. He has a nice lyrical side to his voice and he can sing big when he needs to. However, there are times that his voice is not totally appropriate for those bigger roles like Tristan or the drum major, even though he can do some fabulous vocal acting. Hence, I prefer him in Spinto-y roles such as Lohengrin from Lohengrin, Parsifal from Parsifal, Walter von Stolzing from Die Meistersinger von Nürnberg, Loge from Das Rheingold, and of course, Tamino and the first armed man from Mozart's Die Zauberflöte. If I wanted real Heldentenors to conquer Tristan or Siegmund, or even the two Siegfrieds from Siegfried and Götterdämmerung respectively, or all of those bigger, beefier roles, I would easily consult Lauritz Melchior, Bernd Aldenhoff, Ramon Vinay, Hans Beurer, Ludwig Suthaus, Gunther Treptow, Renato Zanelli, Carlos Guichandut, and James King. We got that clear? Thank you very much. Suffice it to say, I still love Peter Hofmann and everything that he has been accomplishing thus far, but I've always believed and always argued that he is a natural Spinto tenor with a full lyric tenor edge who can sing in such a lovely, noble, and absolutely virile manner that perfectly coincides with that lyrical plushness he possessed during his prime as an opera singer in the late 1960s to the 1970s to the 1980s before transitioning to pop and musicals throughout the rest of the 1980s and the 1990s. And this album also demonstrates that he can continue with wonderfully nuanced singing, exceptional vocal shading, and a whole lot of charisma that had made Peter Hofmann so renowned as a natural Spinto tenor with a great full lyric tenor plushness and lyricism, as well as nuance that made him thoroughly listenable in his best days as well as his best roles. No doubt was he able to launch such an incisive and secure delivery with A Holy Night, complete with nuances, as well as an exciting high A when he sang that second to the last Divine, and his rendition of Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, or the Christmas song, further hammers home the fact that his natural gift of lyrical singing as well as pure lyricism are totally intact. Hence, he can master lyrical singing no matter what he accomplishes, whether they be operatic roles, most specifically Lohengrin, Loge, Walter von Stolzing, Parsifal, Tamino, and the First Armed Man, or even pop ballads and musical numbers. He has that lyricism in spades, and he demonstrated it so beautifully with Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, all thanks to that round, rich, yet silvery and absolutely charming tone that increased his virility, increased his charisma, and made him a thoroughly affable and charming natural Spinto tenor with great full lyric tenor emissions all around him. So Peter Hofmann continues to be in tip-top shape in this album. Joining him was Deborah Sasson, who was not only his second wife, but she also collaborated with him throughout the 1980s and the 1990s and even the early 2000s in a lot of musicals, pop ballads, and the occasional opera arias and duets. I've only heard about Mrs. Sasson's name in passing, as she seems to have demonstrated her performing prowess not only in opera, but also in musical theater as well as in popular music. Hence, she is a performer who can demonstrate versatility no matter what she does, whether it's opera or musicals or more contemporary music. I would compare Deborah Sasson to Anna Moffo, but while Anna Moffo is more renowned for that fuller, richer, creamier, more marbly tone in her voice, whether she digs deep to her chest tones, has that nice, deliciously creamy middle at her disposal, and hits those high notes, Deborah Sasson has a thinner, more wiry tone, but it's still pleasing to the ear when she sings her songs, whether they be classical or modern. She manages to inject them with a lot of nuance, femininity, charm, and a whole lot of charisma and interest. Furthermore, while Anna Moffo embraced such a huge color palette in her voice, Deborah Sasson's voice is on the white silvery side, but as I stated before, it's still pleasing to the ear, it still has a great amount of nuance, and it has sufficient agility to not only make her stand out so well in her solo numbers, but also pair herself nicely with Peter Hofmann's round, rich, and silvery tenor voice. Her rendition of Silent Night was full of charm and loveliness, as well as great coordination, and I dare not forget about her rendition of Bach's and Gounod's Ave Maria, in which she was also able to sing with that silvery tone of hers that she used to her advantage when singing Ave Maria at the key of G major, as well as launch at that high B in an ora, which she did so magnificently. Thus, what she was able to accomplish was wrapped up in such an elegant and absolutely gorgeous package, all thanks to what Deborah Sasson was able to accomplish as a musician, as well as an overall performer. As a pair of singers, both Peter Hofmann and Deborah Sasson complemented each other so handsomely. That silvery roundness and richness that Peter Hofmann has is a perfect complement to Deborah Sasson's slightly whiter yet flexible tone that also made them truly listenable in their duets, Silver Bells and Home for the Holidays. Both of them were able to weave some lovely legato lines and demonstrate absolutely wonderful musicianship thanks to how creamily and richly and roundly their voices blended together. The colors that blended so beautifully with Peter Hofmann's slightly bolder colors and Deborah Sasson's cooler colors coming together in harmony to find that balance and find that phenomenal harmony made these two fabulous singers shine so thoroughly and excellently. However, it's not just Peter Hofmann and Deborah Sasson that did magnificently in their solos and duets. It was also the London Symphony Orchestra and Chorus that managed to be at their strongest in this album. There was no doubt that the London Symphony Orchestra had a lot of fun with Sleigh Ride, and even though it would have been fun to have heard Peter Hofmann and Deborah Sasson sing along, it's just so wonderful hearing all the members of the orchestra just go at it and even have some interesting and funny sound effects here and there, such as having a horse stop after having a long yet rapid snowy trek. And they were also able to demonstrate nuance, gorgeousness, and absolutely wonderful intricacy with O Tannenbaum, which would have been great for Peter Hofmann to sing in, but I digress. The London Symphony Orchestra still played so beautifully, and this was also thanks to the superb conducting done by Dennis Burnside. He was able to whip that orchestra into fantastic shape, and he also made sure that every single player played beautifully with nuance and with a whole lot of precision. Special kudos also has to go to Don Jackson for Silver Bells, thus providing a whole lot of nuance, charm, and intricacy for Peter Hofmann's and Deborah Sasson's duet. And when it comes to the London Symphony Chorus, everybody was at their A game. Whether they sang The Holly and the Ivy, the Christmas Hymn, Carol of the Bells, or Here We Come A-Wassailing, every single member of the chorus showed harmony as well as a lot of joy when they were singing their hearts out. And that is what you call great cooperative and collaborative work from all the members of the chorus. And yes, you could argue that it could have been way more fun for Peter Hofmann and Deborah Sasson to join along in the final number, Here We Come A-Wassailing, and that would have been a way more epic closer to have the two singers join along with the chorus. But what was still executed was thoroughly enjoyable from beginning to end. I definitely had a grand ball with Hallmark Presents Songs for the Holidays. While there could have been a little bit more selections as well as heightened more opportunities for Peter Hofmann and Deborah Sasson to sing, let alone join along with the chorus at the very end, it was still a wonderful package, let alone a wonderful Christmas album that I can safely recommend to anybody wanting a great listening experience and a classical experience at that. There was even some surprises to be found in this particular album, with Peter Hofmann's and Deborah Sasson's rendition of Home for the Holidays being an absolutely charming and welcome addition. Therefore, everybody was at their A game, and while there could have been a little bit more opportunities for Peter Hofmann and Deborah Sasson to join along, I still have to give them a lot of props for what they were able to accomplish both individually and as a couple of wonderful singers. Therefore, I give Hallmark Presents Songs for the Holidays a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Yes, that extra dent kind of did pull it down a bit because there could have been a lot more opportunities featured in this album, especially the big opportunity for Peter Hofmann and Deborah Sasson to join along the chorus in the final number, but that is an extremely small price to pay for what was otherwise a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Everybody was at their A game, the artistry just shown with such brilliance, especially when you have such a charismatic spinto tenor like Peter Hofmann pairing up so wonderfully with a charming lyric coloratura soprano like Deborah Sasson, and when you also have two reliable conductors in the forms of Dennis Burnside and Don Jackson, and not to mention the overall phenomenal contributions made by the London Symphony Orchestra and Chorus. Everybody did superbly, and you definitely owe it to yourselves to listen to this album during the holidays. You will definitely have a wonderful time, especially with all this artistry radiating throughout this particular album. And for those of you who listened to Hallmark Presents Songs for the Holidays, what'd you think of it? Did you feel that everybody was at their A game of this album? Did you feel that Peter Hofmann and Deborah Sasson were at their vocal best? Did you also feel like they could have done a lot more as well as contributed to the final number? Did you also feel that everybody from the singers to the conductors to the orchestra players to the chorus members were all at their very best? Or did you feel like your interest in this album is kind of low? Please let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for my review of Hallmark Presents Songs for the Holidays. Tune in later for my review of Yuha Usitalo, The Wonder of Christmas. So until then, happy holidays, everybody!